Right, we are finally back with a brand new episode of Real Talk, a real episode of Real Talk.
It's back, man.
We've been doing bits, we've been trying to establish the Twitter over the summer, haven't we?
Yeah, and we've got a good following now as well.
Yeah, we've got over 1,000 followers, about 1,600, yeah.
1,000 people are interested in what we say.
Yeah,
that's good enough for me.
Sort of social media celebrities now, so try and...
try to treat us with some respect.
Yeah, I know. We've got that high social class now, haven't we? No, I'm joking with you. Obviously, we've been trying to build the brand whilst, you know, you've been at home from university.
Yeah.
I've just left university. Sure. So that's why we've had such a long absence. It's actually February, the last show that we did.
February? February's the last one you and I did together. And then you did one with Morgan, I did one with Morgan. We did some other stuff in between, like the podcast a couple of times.
Yeah, we did.
It's the first time you and I have been reunited since February.
I know.
And it's been too long. But we got a lot to talk about today.
There's been so much that's happened in the world of film since the last time that we were sat on this very couch, actually. But we had a great time at Grimmfest at the weekend, didn't we? So basically, me and Damian got press accreditation for the first time for Real Talk as an independent website, which is massive.
It's
thumbs
incredible.
up for us.
Yeah, thanks Grimmfest for letting us have that. And it was, for some of the films that we saw, I was impressed with just how good they were. I mean, day one, if you guys haven't seen the video already, we posted a video recapping day one. But then some things happened in the middle. We couldn't get day 2 and day 3
together.
No,
you were working.
So I was working. So it just didn't match up, and that's fine. But we're gonna recap day 2, 3, and 4. If you want to find out about what day 1 was, there's a video just before this.
That's a quick plug. Yeah. And the main point here is, even though individually we weren't there every day, Real Talk was there every day.
Exactly.
So we
100%.
covered the festival to our best abilities.
And so we're here to tell you about those movies that you weren't able to see and that we were able to see at Grimmfest. If you want to start, you were there on day 2.
On day 2 on the Friday. So on Friday I got there for the 7 o'clock showing and the 9 o'clock showing. So I saw Dead Night, which was another film that starred Barbara Crampton, who's kind of like a mainstay in this festival. It's kind of been built around her because she had films out for the first 3 days actually.
Yeah.
She was in the Puppet Master on Saturday.
Puppet Master 2. She's actually kind of resurged her acting career
in terms of the horror genre, definitely.
Especially in terms. I mean, Your Next, which came out in 2011, really got the ball rolling for her again. She took a break in between as well. But so she had that. She also had Puppet Master 2.
Yeah, and obviously the one that we saw on the opening night, the Reanimator.
The classic.
And she was hot as hell in that film.
And that was in 1985. And that was actually the first time that
we both
saw it. Yeah. And we did review that already on it. But just to recap quickly, I did enjoy it. And so did you as well.
I loved it. I was like, I got that Evil Dead vibe where it was just so balls to the wall and wacky and didn't care whether the audience loved it or hated it because it had a set vision that it was going to be completely, pun intended, animated with its gore and violence and sadistic humour as well.
Yeah. And then the film after that, it was very campy. But I mean, that comes with the 1985 vibe.
Of course it does.
And I think, if you will, it set the mood for them. And so the film we saw after that was Wait Further Instructions. We both liked it. Could have been better, but we did enjoy it. Yeah. Now, day 2, that was a big day for you.
Dead Night. So, Dead Night was a completely different film to The Reanimator in terms of Barbara Crampton's performance. She was a really dislikable villain in the film, and the best way I can describe it to you is sort of Cabin in the Woods meets... I'm trying to think... I've never seen a film like it, and that's
so
probably
quite
the best...
unique with the genre.
Yeah, so basically there's this site in the woods that has a high percentage in iron or something, which is supposed to make you feel really happy and like at peace with yourself and things like that. But what you quickly learn is that it's also the location of some pretty dark rituals. Not going to spoil anything in terms of what these beings are, because you don't actually find out until the end what they are. But this family goes there. Here's one problem that I did have with it. They never explained the reason why they went explicitly, but you have to kind of guess that the father had cancer because...
So there was a gap in the story?
Yeah, it's like I think they just forgot to one of the biggest elements of connecting the audience with that character, because that's something that the horror genre, especially on the independent scale, is lacking, is any character development. But,
so, how was the actual story overall then, considering it was like, from beginning to end?
It was just a fun B-movie. That's how I can describe it. But Barbara Crampton was really solid in it. I enjoyed her performance. This isn't a spoiler either. I'm pretty sure on the IMDb explanation, it'll say something along the lines of something really bad happens.
But don't sue us if it's not on there.
Yeah, don't sue me. Don't sue me. You're alright, mate. You didn't see the film. I'm ruining the film here. But basically, something really bad happens at this location, and it's also told in the style of like a murder documentary. So it transitions from cinematic feel to a documentary feel. So it's got a piece of cameras by police officers. So it goes from the time zone of after this event has occurred to whilst the event is occurring. And to be fair, I thought there's no way this is going to surprise me, because I'm sussed out, I'm clever. I know what I'm talking about. I know what's going to have happened. But the ending is surprising. I didn't know where it was going to end up, and it did a good job. Would I watch it again? I might watch it in a few Halloween years to come, but it's by no means a classic, but it was enjoyable.
And you saw another film that night as well, didn't you?
Yeah, gonna quickly touch upon this, because I was actually flapping with Damian right before we went on air today, thinking, how the bloody hell do I describe this film?
Yeah, the way we were talking about is, I wasn't able to see it, but Guillermo del Toro has had a lot of praise for this movie.
Yeah, because it's a Mexican film, so it's all subtitled, and I imagine that his sort of upbringing, or maybe not necessarily saying, because the upbringing of the children in the film is horrific, but I'm sure that he'll definitely know about families that live in the sort of environments that these people and these kids live in Mexico. So in terms of the plot, I'm going to do my best here, alright? So it follows, it's 100% straight in. There's no build up here. It goes straight in once the credits have rolled, really. It's about this young girl who loses her mother. Spoiler alert again. It's not a spoiler though. It's
part of the story.
It's part of the story. Immediately loses her mother, and it's set amongst the horrific cartel and gang violence in that area of the world at the moment that leaves so many children wandering the streets having to fend for themselves. So she looks to join a group of young boys. She's the only girl in the group. And they eventually have a really nice relationship, but she's actually being haunted by the death of her mother. So her mother is...
So that's the horror element coming into this.
So it's definitely a character piece with horror elements, which is a lot like the film that you're going to discuss later, which is, for me, that's the best type of horror film, because scaring the audience isn't at the forefront of the director's mind or the writer's mind. Establishing a story, believability, and characters that you care about.
That's what makes it scary.
Exactly.
That's what
it's like Hereditary, isn't it?
Well,
we talked about that.
From what I'm gathering, it creeps up on you with the realism of the family, or the realism behind the lives of these children, and that's when horror for me comes through really well, especially with
because you believe it. You believe, like, it's like if you come up to me in tears one day and said I'm being haunted by something in my house, that would like rattle me to my core, because I know you as a person.
The life. Yeah,
I know that you wouldn't joke anything about that, and I know you well enough as a person that you would be upset about it. It's like the same thing with these characters in the film. You get to know them before whatever happens, whatever bad things start to happen. And it is a tearjerker, man. It is a really emotional film. I would definitely watch it again, but it's a difficult watch.
Okay, and how would you rank it then? Of all the films you saw,
definitely the best film.
Definitely the best film.
Yeah.
Well, on day 3, which you weren't able to attend, I saw Witch in the Window, and I also saw Puppet Master 2. I don't really want to talk about Puppet Master 2 that much because
was it awful?
It wasn't that great.
It did look awful.
I will say this though, Barbara Crampton is a fantastic actress, I think, for horror. I believe there's certain actors in this world who can really invoke the horror in films really well. And I imagine it might have been the same thing with Dead Knight.
Yeah.
But her character is really able to invoke the horror elements, the creepiness, if you will, of what's going on.
She has a sense of believability, I feel.
And it's not a film I'm going to return to. But the film I really want to talk about from day 3, so I don't waste too much time, is Witch in the Window. Right. Which is about this son and father visiting this cabin, this house, if you will, set in Virginia somewhere. The father and son have a bit of a tormented relationship. The father and the mother are divorced. And so when he picks up the kid, he's taking him to the cabin because he wants to rebuild that relationship with his son by rebuilding this house. And while they're fixing up this house to turn it over and sell, they found out that there's actually some paranormal activity going on, and there is a witch in the house. And I won't spoil... Yeah, shock from the title. But what's really interesting is that it is not as demonly as you would think. So you hear witch in the window. It's not as demonly as you think. It's not as sinister as that. And this has really nothing to do with the movie because I think, you can have the worst movie title in the world and that does not make your good movie bad.
No, of course it does.
But a good movie title does not make a bad movie good either. No. So it doesn't hinder that. But that's one thing that I would go into. Don't expect
it gives
a witch.
A different expectation for fans. Is what
I'm trying to say. Yeah. And the movie itself, I didn't like it. Yeah. It's got the best performance though. Andy Craig, I believe is his name. I could be wrong. Gave the best performance of any film I saw at Grimmfest.
Seriously?
Yeah,
even better than a certain young lady in the final film of Sunday.
Alien Apocalypse. Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Was really...
Oh, no.
Oh, I Take Your Dead, I'm talking about.
I'll Take Your Dead. Oh, the child actress in that. I'll go into what makes her brilliant. But what makes this guy brilliant is that if he doesn't work, this movie is not watchable. I'll Take Your Dead has a great performance by a child actress that is incredible. And I will gush about I'll Take Your Dead in a second. But Witch in the Window is a film I'm not that impressed with. It tried to give the Conjuring vibes, and if you will, maybe some Hereditary vibes, which I feel is the new in for horror, because Hereditary was
rightly so, though.
Oh no, of course, and it had a fantastic take on the world. But I feel what's happening now is that there's a lot of similarities going on, whether or not that's on purpose. Yeah. But Witch in the Window, I would not recommend. But that is another film that we saw, and I was able to meet the actor afterwards. Lovely guy. Director seems to have a vision. Yeah, really the actor in Witch in the Window. Yeah, I was able to talk to him.
Geeking out over that way.
Geeking out. I was talking to him. I didn't obviously talk about my problems with the movie, but to see the respect that he had for his character, the direction of the overall movie, it either felt too rushed, too long. Some of the shots just simply felt like they were made. You have some certain random shots of trees.
No,
and
yeah,
the lake. And
definitely that was the case in Dead Night as well.
And it felt kind of you just threw it in because wait, this could be a cool shot. Yeah. But it has no benefit to it.
Filler shots.
Exactly.
That's what they should be
B-roll,
and it's not completely filler shots.
It didn't add anything to it. So that was my problem with Witch in the Window. Fine. But I really want to talk about the final day, which.
Let's skip over Alive. We don't like...
Well, we'll talk about Alive real quick and just say it's a movie that's best left not talked about.
Yeah.
It's about these...
I didn't hate it, though.
Well, I didn't hate it either, but there's certain parts of me that really, really enjoyed elements, and then there's just some unwatchable scenes.
I think it was just like... Oh, this is going to sound really harsh, but it's like... when you're a young child... and you're coming up with a story in your head and think, how can I make it this much crazier? How can I make it this much crazier? But the sense of believability goes completely out of the window in that because there's no logic.
And there's certain twists and turns that you and I were talking about in the film.
Which would have worked.
Yeah. And the film is about this boy and girl, man and woman, who wake up in this abandoned hospital having a certain caretaker who gives off Joker vibes. If you will, crazy, Hannibal, Joker vibes.
I despise the actor because I just thought he was trying well too hard. You can tell he's been this is probably his dream role, and he's been studying loads of other performances, but it's just...
Hannibal Lecter would definitely have been one of those.
It's just not... It just feels forced.
No, and
in all due respect.
Where the movie takes you, it just feels rushed. The ideas are not executed well. In fact, some of the ideas that you and I thought the movie was going to go towards...
Which would have been cool, which would have brought it back around.
Without spoiling it, and... Yeah, so Alive is not a movie we recommend you go out and see, but this next film is something that is in my top 10 of the year.
Big statement.
I'll Take Your Dead, which is an incredible film about this father and daughter who are living on this farm down in Alaska, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And the father has a little secret that he deals with this gang, and whenever this gang kills people or accidentally murders people, this father's job, who his nickname is the Candyman, the Candyman's job is to dispose of the already dead bodies. Mm-hmm. And when he takes in a set of dead bodies from this gang, it's supposed to be his last job, but his last job turns out to be probably the hardest, because amongst the dead bodies, there's actually this woman who's still alive.
Yeah.
And the film is about this father and daughter, who the daughter knows what the Candyman does.
Which is really weird.
It was interesting.
About that.
And I'll tell you what it reminded me of. It reminded me of Logan, where
the innocence of the little girl is taken away from a young age.
Exactly, because of the father figure.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting story about this daughter who's facing her own demons. I say demons, but they are literal
demons and figurative demons as well.
And then you have the father who's fighting his demons, which is the death of his wife. She's been dead for a long time. But also this gang. Those are his demons. And it's interesting as a horror film to see the paranormal and the real horror come together.
It was definitely the perfect mesh of the two, which is like with Tigers Are Not Afraid as well. That is an idealistic vision of what horror is at its best, where it meshes the real world with, like you said, the paranormal, the spiritual world, anything otherworldly, and makes it believable, makes it relatable. Somehow how was that film relatable? It shouldn't have been relatable on paper, but it was.
And I enjoyed the chemistry between the father and the daughter. I felt like the involvement of this captured woman really worked well for really the father and the daughter's story, because the father and the daughter are living in the same house. They do have a great relationship, but I feel like there are two different stories that are going on. And the way that it's executed, the direction, the pacing is phenomenal. I just tried to check on what the time was, and it's 1 hour and 20 minutes long.
Is it?
Yeah, it's nothing. And I believe that with that pacing, there has to be some points which drag out to a certain extent, so it doesn't feel too rushed.
Yeah, but it didn't.
And it didn't, not at all.
It felt like the story had come 360 degrees. It felt like there was no stone left unturned.
No.
It was a perfect ending. Oh my god.
For what the director, who was also the writer, set it up for, it had to end the way that it did. Mm. And just like you were talking about the familial elements of horror, these moments between the father and daughter really, there's certain troubles that they're going through in their own personal lives. Yeah. The daughter's having a rough time really just growing up. The father's having a tough time trying to provide for his daughter. They're planning on moving down to El Paso, and it's a very touching story, but also horrific. Especially the last act of the movie is great, and that is, in my opinion, the best movie I saw at Grimmfest. And there is another movie. That was the second to last movie shown at Grimmfest. Now, you had to leave due to having work at crazy o'clock in the morning the next day.
Oh, yeah.
But I stuck around and I was able to watch the prime movie that they were setting up, and that was Anna and the Apocalypse, which is High School Musical mixed with zombies, mixed with other horror elements, and it's very campy. It's very weird. Like, it strikes you in a weird way. If you watch the trailer, you will get very weird vibes from it. And it sets up the musical element perfectly. The music in it is catchy. I've been listening to it.
Does it make sense why it's a musical?
Well, for what this is, it wasn't trying to make sense. It was kind of just like...
It was self-aware.
It was very self-aware.
Which is good.
And I think once you set that up from the get-go, you're able to make a movie then that doesn't feel too cliche, but also forced as a musical. It worked really well. And if you will, I felt kind of like I was watching something in a theater, like, you know, like an actual classic theater.
Yes.
And that's what I want. No, with a movie like La La Land, I want to feel like I'm watching an actual
piece of
Broadway musical.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's a piece of cinema as well, 100%. But the Anna and the Apocalypse really brought that musical vibe, which is what it needed. But more importantly, the zombies in this are very good.
Wow.
They add a comedic value. They also add somewhat of a horror value. The biggest gripe I have about the movies, though, is that sometimes it does get caught in its own feet sometimes with what it's trying to do. I feel when they're trying to set up an emotional death of a character, because of how campy they set up a moment 2 minutes or a minute before.
You're just not going to care
No,
as much.
and the death scene itself just feels a bit, okay, now let's go on to the next thing. When you really should feel...
Should be mourning.
Well, you should. You should be feeling sorry for these characters that are going through it. But Anna, in this film, the lead actress, phenomenal voice, beautiful, great actress. If she doesn't... This same exact thing with The Witch in the Window, except this is actually a good movie. If the lead doesn't deliver, the movie falls apart.
100%.
The supporting cast. No, of course, but this hinges on it particularly. I mean, there are some films where you can argue, like, I'll personally say, I'll choose a great film, The Dark Knight, where I feel like Batman wasn't even the best character.
Yeah.
A good performance from Christian Bale, no doubt. But that film is great for multiple other reasons. And I think because Christian Bale's acting wasn't exactly the best, the movie wouldn't have fallen apart. It wouldn't have been as great, probably, but it wouldn't have been bad. Of course. And with this one, though...
Couldn't afford that.
No, you couldn't afford the supporting acts to really outshine. They had to have a perfect casting, really the right solos for Anna, you know, with the music. And all I really wanted coming into this film coming out of this film was a smile on my face. And when I left the movie, that's all I got, was a smile on my face. And yeah, I recommend, my personal recommendation is going out to see I'll Take Your Dead, which is in my top 10. But the delight and the surprise of Grimmfest for me was Anna the Apocalypse. There was a few good movies that we saw.
Yeah, it was an awesome time at Grimmfest, and it was good to celebrate the opening of the official horror season as we head into Halloween now, which is always good because growing up I never had this opportunity. Obviously I wouldn't have been old enough if I did have the opportunity to go to something like this because I'm a massive nerd about horror. So it was great, but then... You know, now we're going to go and talk about the current releases, and
You were gushing about a certain movie an hour ago. Now, I've had a busy past week when Venom has been released and A Star is Born. I'm going to be watching those in the next couple of days. But you were able to watch both of those, and you actually saw A Star is Born last night. Would you rather start with that one or Venom? And I'll ask you questions about it.
Yeah, I need to get...
the tears are about to go.
I love that film so much. I just said to you as I met you then, that is one of the greatest films I've ever seen in terms of the performances, the believability of the characters. Lady Gaga, you're gonna see like on the posters, Lady Gaga is a revelation, this, that, and the other, and you hear that is one of the most cliched terms when a singer goes to acting or vice versa, but I was not prepared for how good she was going to be in this film. I'm not a fan of her music. Like, she obviously has catchy things.
Yeah, and her voice, is incredible.
Yeah, she's got an incredible voice, but to me, she's the personification of a modern pop star, which might be unfair to her fans, but that's me, an outsider looking in. Of course, right? She's anything but that in this film. She's completely stripped back. She's naked from all the glitz, glamour. She's completely normalised. And when Bradley Cooper initially meets her in this bar and deep in the city, wherever he is, you feel like you're meeting her for the first time. You completely fall in love with her straight away, as Bradley Cooper does. And I just want to mention as well, in terms of the way it is filmed on stage at live concerts. I know that Bradley Cooper performed at Coachella, Glastonbury.
Yeah, he did a lot. Okay, so I haven't seen the movie, but I know enough to know that Bradley Cooper He directed, wrote,
Yeah.
produced, and obviously is the lead actor in this. He went above and beyond the Call of Duty for this movie because it's kind of his baby.
And he was scared as well. He was so scared about singing. He didn't want to have that raw sound in it, like so many films when you see. I don't. Did you see Great Showman? Did Hugh Jackman do that for real?
Yeah.
Completely for real, or was it
the music?
Yeah.
He sang it. He sang it on set, but all of the songs in the film were actually recorded in the studio.
Right.
But if you look at a film
that's all live, live sound from the stage in the film in A Star Is Born. So you get that feeling. And then Bradley Cooper actually said that the inspiration for the way those scenes were filmed came from when he was stood on stage watching a Metallica concert, and the lead guitarist or lead singer, I'm not the biggest Metallica fan to be honest, I'm not a massive metalhead, but one of the guys in the band, because he was so close and he hadn't seen what goes into a performance from that angle, from behind the scenes, he saw the sweat dripping on the guitar, saw the facial expressions, and he thought, I want to see that.
So what made this? You and I loved Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yes.
That is still my favorite movie of the year. Yeah. It's really hard to say that it's not my favorite action movie of all time. What made this movie for you better than that? Because that was your favorite movie.
That was my favorite film of the year. But the key point to highlight here is that they are completely different films. So personally, I don't like to compare an Oscar nominate. It's going to be of course it should be Oscar winner.
Right.
An Academy Awards bait drama with. I don't even want to call. I feel like it's undermining Mission Impossible Fallout as a summer blockbuster. As
well, but I do understand.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I don't like to compare genres. Just like I don't like to compare genres in music because I feel like
they're two different kind of artists
in their own fields, right? So I'm comparing this with other dramatic pieces. The reason why I watch cinema is to develop bonds with people that I'll never meet.
Sure.
So
okay. Yeah.
It's unfathomable to me how these people don't exist yet. I feel such a strong connection with them.
The character build-up meant a lot more to you.
It's incredible, and you're not going to, as amazing as Mission Impossible Fallout was, you don't have that connection to the characters.
I can understand
in that sense, because you don't have these intimate moments where the characters aren't saying anything, but you know exactly what they're thinking. Like, I've known you for a long time now, and I can sort of gauge where you're at without saying anything, but you get that straight away. That's how great.
Characters
and for a 2-hour, 15-minute film to be able to get you to that emotional place where you'll give anything to make sure these characters are all right, and you wish that they get through whatever adversity they're going through. And the supporting cast is amazing as well. I'm not sure the actor's name who played Bradley Cooper's brother in the film, but that relationship was so raw and real, because I'm sure every family has certain parts of the family where they don't speak, or there's a rift of some kind, so it's completely relatable. In terms of what Bradley Cooper's going through in the film, I don't know if they showed it in the trailers that he's struggling from substance abuse.
Alcoholism and everything. Yeah, they do show that, and
which is absolutely heartbreaking to see.
I think with any character,
it's not glamorized, which is what you get in Hollywood so much. And of course, it wasn't going to get glamorized in a film like this, but it really drives home that any form of substance abuse is a disease, and the music in the film is incredible. I know you've been listening to the soundtrack.
There's a certain song from it called Look What I Found, but also Shallow, which is a song you hear it in the trailers. Yeah. It is unbelievably good.
I teared up in the car on the way this morning.
Listening to the song.
Listening to it. But there is a moment where, there's two moments. For me, it was pretty much every time Lady Gaga sang that I teared up. Just because
her voice is unreal.
Her voice just touched my soul. Like, it was a thing of beauty when you first meet her character and she sings the French...
La Vie en Rose.
Yeah, the French song that is just breathtaking. But there is a particular moment in the film where she sings, and she's singing from a different character's perspective, and you thoroughly understand what both characters have gone through, are going through, and it's not just noise in your ears. The music is telling the story.
There's depth to it.
Of the film. And in terms of performances, the script, the story, I'm begging, I'm praying that this gets
I need to watch it.
Major awards.
Because I've been wanting to watch it for a while since seeing the trailers, and I know that Bradley Cooper was inspired a lot by Clint Eastwood. And Bradley Cooper's been wanting to make a movie for a long time.
Can we just highlight how amazing of a career turnaround he's had? Because he could have so easily have been typecast as that comedic lead after the Hangover films.
He could have, and he went a very weird role by choosing roles just like American Sniper, those darker roles, and he has turned it around.
How bold was it for him to make that decision to go with the commercial hit like Hangover, knowing full well that these sorts of films were the direction that he wanted to go in eventually? Because you can tell that this guy is a cinephile. He absolutely adores cinema. He takes in everything. There's so many subtle moments in this film which isn't from the guy that you see in The Hangover, that isn't from the guy that was on the press junket Hangover. He was trying to be a people pleaser, essentially. And a lot of actors have them roles where they have to get themselves known out there.
And with this one, though, it really came across genuine. This has nothing to do with his other roles being disingenuous at all. But this one, I still haven't seen it, but the way he talks about it at press junkets, interviews, even before the film was shown at festivals, he showed a lot of love. It means
so much to him. It's his baby.
And I'm glad to hear that it's good. Good, first of all. I'm happy to hear that. It's amazing.
Anything positive about that film is an understatement for me.
So
words can't describe the feelings it gave me. It was so powerful.
Good. Now, going quickly to another film then that I haven't seen again, but from what critics have said, what I've seen from trailers,
absolutely panned.
Venom, starring Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, Riz Ahmed. I'm on the fence still about seeing it. I will end up seeing it, but you were able to see it last week. What do you think of it?
Saw it on Saturday night, and I went in with zero expectations, good or bad, because when a film gets panned as much as this, like any DC film prior to Wonder Woman or after, when you have Batman versus... not Batman versus Superman, even though Batman versus Superman did get panned, we both liked it.
Yeah, I could talk about it.
So what I'm saying is that I'm not going to let any critical reception, no matter how negative it is, affect my judgment of the film going into it. I'm not going to go in there looking for negatives, because if you get that mindset, you're going to hate it by choice, right?
Of course.
So go in there with a clear mind. It was enjoyable, but again, like you said, when there's films like A Star Is Born out, that's the reason why you love cinema. But was Venom ever going to be a film that reminded you why you love cinema? No, of course it wasn't. It was supposed to be a fun action film. And for the most part, it was fun. I thought, as someone who loves the Marvel universe from the comics to what it's been built in the MCU and everything prior, Venom is an untouched character and a mysterious character on screen. You never got...
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, exactly. That's...
No, sir, no. That left a bad tint on Spider-Man.
Of course, because he deserves the full attention of the fans. Whatever the convoluted mess was Spider-Man 3, you get all the attention on the story of Venom in this. And Tom Hardy, he's well too good-looking and...
likeable.
action movie star looking to be an Eddie Brock. When you go from Topher Grace to Tom Hardy, there's surely
the size difference
some
alone.
problems, right? So the believability might not be there, but he's got that certain unhinged aura about him. And once he does get the... is it symbiote? Is that how you say it?
Alright.
Because that's a big debate.
Hold on. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this for a second, okay? In the trailers, they call it a symbiote.
Right.
And then you also know that it should be symbiote.
Right.
And so
symbiote is what...
I can't tell you
I'm pretty sure that's what they said in the movie, symbiote, but now that you've said...
Symbiote, is it? But they do say symbiote in the trailer, so I haven't seen the film, so I don't know what was in the final.
I'd say, if you're a fan of superhero films, go and watch it. But if you're one of these people that loves to go and spend money just so you can pan something... I'm going to say don't go and do it, but I can't respect people who do that, who will just actively go and pay money to see something just to shit on it. Do you know?
I get that.
I'm not a fan of that. I'll always try and see the good in everything, right? But negatives, because obviously there are negatives. Michelle Williams, what the hell was she thinking to sign up for this film? She's god awful.
Not that good.
She's horrible in this film.
I've heard the villain is a bit weak.
I like Riz Ahmed. I thought Riz Ahmed did a solid job. He has logical motives, which is all you need in a film of this magnitude. He's not detestable, so you can kind of... I did like it, right? But there's obvious problems, but if you go there looking to highlight those obvious problems, maybe it's a case of I look past them. Maybe it's a case that I wanted to like it more than it is a good film.
Do you think maybe there's a chance as well, like, hearing all of these negatives, there was an opportunity to find positives as well about the movie?
Yeah. I feel like... I had a solid time. I wouldn't say I had a good time, great time, bad time.
It was good enough.
It was worth the money that I paid to go and watch it. Will I watch it again? There's no reason to watch it again. There's no replay value, no rewatchability value. The action is... It's... Okay. I'm not a fan of how fluid the suit is in terms of the way it comes on and off, and there's certain stuff that seems a bit too cartoonish.
Sure.
So... yeah, there are negatives in the film, but did it make me hate it? No, it didn't. So that's my thoughts on Venom. You guys make up yours. So we've got to quickly get through this.
Yeah, well, we have these news piles from the past few weeks, really, where we have James Gunn is directing Suicide Squad 2. And excuse me. He is writing Suicide Squad 2, and he's probably going to direct it. Yeah, it's not been announced yet.
Dave Bautista wants to be a part of it as well.
Well, Dave Bautista just wants to get away from the MCU. After
Respect.
He's standing up for his friend.
I'm respecting the fact that he's standing up for his friend.
I don't know how he would work in Suicide Squad 2 unless...
I'm seeing a lot of graphic... Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of concept art for him as Bane that... a few artists that I follow on Instagram.
And it's interesting because...
with the old fluorescent green...
oh, like the classic look. I don't know.
They've got to change it somehow.
But I feel with James Gunn, what's really interesting is people were panicking on his behalf, and I don't know why, but people were panicking saying, oh, he's not going to find any work, Marvel's killed his career.
He's too good not to be able to...
in fact, I think this, if anything, boosted his career.
Look at the amazing support he's got from everybody.
Oh, yeah, the directors have come out, writers, producers, everyone's come out and support.
Well, it's evident that he is getting support.
Yeah. Well, Suicide Squad 2 as well, though, it makes me
It's a film that we weren't hyped about, but with that name attached, very much hyped about that. The Star Wars TV show focusing on
Mandalorian.
Yes,
and
I'm excited.
What I'm excited for now.
Taika Waititi directing.
Oh, well, that's what I was gonna say. It's like they've got weird.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Well, she's directed a short film that hasn't been officially released, to my knowledge. I haven't seen it. She's not directed a full feature. And we've also got Dave Filoni, he's directed multiple episodes of like Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars Clone Wars. He's a showrunner, actually, for both of them. And it's really interesting to see these people who really connect with different genres. Taika Waititi connects with comedy the most, whereas you can sense that Dave Filoni's more with the classic Star Wars, that campiness, that action.
I feel like Bryce Dallas Howard will bring that drama.
Yeah, maybe. I just don't know what to expect because I've not seen anything.
Horse,
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends if she got the job because her father is Ron Howard.
Yeah. Well,
so
not a bad guy to learn.
No,
well.
not at all. No. In fact, I liked Solo.
Yeah.
And I thought he did a good job with that. It's just interesting for her to be chosen.
I was a big fan of Solo.
Yeah,
big
I
fan.
enjoyed it a lot too. Better than a lot of people, again, panned it to be at first.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that. I'm really excited for this Star Wars series, which is just called Mandalorian. It gives me a bit of a Western feel.
Yeah.
And there've been certain talks about who's going to be the lead in this, and I'm forgetting what his name is.
Have they cast the lead? Lead?
Have they cast him?
I don't think so.
No, but I'm saying there's been talks about him as the lead.
Rumors.
And I'm forgetting his name, excuse me, but Pedro something from Kingsman 2. He was also in Game of Thrones.
Oh, that is a good choice.
Yeah,
know?
and
I feel like he fits that world.
He fits that Boba Fett.
He's in Narcos as well.
Thing. Yeah, he is in Narcos as well.
Yeah, he's in Narcos.
And I can't remember the actor's name. And if we can, hopefully we have like a picture.
A sort of gunslinging type of character. He's got that look about him.
And so that makes me interested.
I thought he could have played a good Han Solo, to be fair. He's got that kind of look. If he shaves his mustache.
And if he probably lost the accent a bit more as well. But I'm excited for this show now. I was excited about it before.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to have to sign up to that Disney streaming service.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Or get some other stream service.
Or find something else.
Last few now, we got Rambo 5, which is titled Last Blood. It's not the most original title ever, is it?
But
I expect nothing less from Sylvester Stallone.
He's directing this as well.
Yeah.
He's directing and writing this. And
did he direct Rambo 4, even though it's just called Rambo?
Did he not direct Rambo 1?
No, he didn't direct Rambo 1.
I haven't seen any of the Rambos.
First Blood is awesome.
Is it good?
First Blood Part 2 is pretty awesome too.
Okay.
3 is not great, but still fun. 4 is ultra violent.
Yeah.
4 came out in 2008, so...
Yeah, pretty recent.
Big time gap. But Sylvester Stallone looks like he's just trying to bring out...
He's bulking up for the role as well again,
he looks a bit weird. I couldn't picture Rambo riding around on horseback with a cowboy hat.
But I think...
It looks like he's sort of enjoying that retirement life, that Logan life.
Yeah, he really is. Coming back as Rocky, coming back as Rambo.
Yeah. One last hurrah for Rambo. Let's hope it's the last.
And this is, I think the most important thing for me here is that the development of this new movie has got me interested in watching the originals. So
you'll love
I'm excited to see it in the movie.
First Blood is one of the best survival action films.
The action as well, I've heard, is incredible.
I might watch it tonight. I actually might watch it tonight.
And then one of the final things we're going to talk about is the previews of the upcoming weeks right now. We have First Man, which is directed by Damian Chazelle.
Yeah.
It's his first movie since La La Land. We've also got Bad Times at the El Royale. And then we've also got Mandy, which stars Nicolas Cage.
You know, Mandy is only releasing in one cinema in Manchester. And,
really?
And then they're doing like a special showing on the day before my birthday, the 27th.
What cinema is it in Manchester?
Showcase Cinema.
Showcase Cinema?
Do you know where that is?
I do know where that is, yeah. It's
out of the way. It's out of the city, isn't it?
Near Stockport. So it's pretty far away. It's about a 30-minute drive.
And I only saw one showing, and that was tonight. And then I looked for other showings, and there's no more.
It's weird. But that looks... Mandy gives a very good...
awesome, mate.
Post-apocalyptic... Post-apocalyptic...
It's been a long day for both of us. We're both slurring our words.
I'm going to watch it.
Nicolas Cage carrying a chainsaw with fluorescent pink-black background. That's
I never knew what I needed until I watched that in the trailer. And obviously, First Man, Damian Chazelle, anything Damian Chazelle and Ryan Gosling, I'm there. I'm excited for it.
You know what I'm going to say, though?
What's that?
Like, I absolutely... I know I only swore there. I absolutely adore Damian Chazelle.
Yeah.
But I'm literally going to compare every Oscar-bait film to a Star is Born.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to talk about...
Whiplash is amazing. Whiplash is one of my favourite films ever, but A Star is Born...
I'm so excited for these movies coming out, including Bad Times at the El Royale, which has a stellar cast with Chris Hemsworth.
It's got solid... It's got good reviews, but not amazing.
I haven't seen any reviews for it yet, because I just know I'm going to watch no matter what. Same reason why I've not...
Same director as Cabin in the Woods, so it's going to have that unpredictability factor. Is that
Drew Goddard? Yeah. And those two look like very exciting films. Bad Times doesn't really look like a movie that's going to threaten anyone at the Oscars. No. First Man, Damian Chazelle movie, probably going to be Oscar nominated. You would expect.
Gosling's definitely been nominated for Best.
Well, he was nominated for La La Land.
Of course
I can't actually remember if he was nominated for anything else.
Half Nelson? Was he nominated for that?
Maybe Blue Valentine? No, I haven't seen it, but I do know that you got a lot of praise for that
Blue
one.
Valentine?
Yeah, Blue Valentine.
Apparently it's one of the most depressing films.
Yeah, it's pretty heartbreaking. It's not an easy watch. I don't actually know if he got nominated for that. But if he didn't, I'd be surprised, because he was extremely good in that movie. And
out of those three...
I was going to say...
It's a tough one.
For me...
My horror heart is saying Mandy, but then obviously my whole cinematic being is saying First Man. I think
that's... For me personally, La La Land is one of my favourite movies of all time. Whiplash is definitely one of my favourite movies of all time. So my heart automatically goes towards First Man. El Royale looks very stylistic, but from the trailers I've seen, doesn't really interest me as much as when I first heard about it. I reckon
we'll have a great time watching.
Oh, I'm going to watch it.
I reckon it'll be one of the most fun times I've had at the cinema this year.
And anything, especially at this point with Chris Hemsworth being very specific with what he's choosing.
Yeah, you know he's going to be good.
You know it's going to be interesting.
Charismatic, engaging to watch. It's got a strong cast.
But the movie I'm choosing is First Man.
Yeah, I agree.
I also think First Man is going to make more money than La La Land and Whiplash. So it's going to be Damien Chazelle's
because Damien Chazelle's become a household name.
Yeah.
You know, even with the casual fans.
Sure, I think because La La Land got that popularity reward. Yeah, and I don't really care. People say, "Oh, La La Land," people don't like it because it's mainstream or stuff like that.
No, it's a classic.
For me.
Whiplash is like the cool indie kid though. Like it's like when you're comparing to Pimp a Butterfly with Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar albums, and I think with Whiplash, that's going to get more popularity as the years go on.
Yeah, Whiplash. I've said to you, he's in my top 15 of all time.
And I wanted to, because we haven't talked in a long time about movies on Real Talk, you and me personally. So I wanted to know real quick, if you had to name your top 3 films of 2018 so far, where would you be? So we obviously know for you, it's A Star Is Born.
I can name my top 3 right now.
Yeah, go for it.
Top 3's hard though. I'll say top 3 in an honourable mention.
Well, we're also gonna do a top 10, obviously,
at the end of
2019.
The year. Right, quickly. Star Is Born, Fallout, Infinity War, and then honourable mention Hereditary.
Okay, Hereditary doesn't crack the top 3, but it's pretty close.
No, because it just taunted me too much. It scared me too much.
For me, it's Fallout, and then maybe Hereditary at number 2. But I did love Black Panther. Black Panther's probably another thing. But I mean, that could swap at any moment with Infinity War.
On my top 10.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
But just to let you guys know as well, still, I'll Take Your Dead is probably going to be number 8, number 9. I can't obviously predict what I'll have at the end of the year, but yeah. So we've got to wrap this up.
We've got to wrap this up.
It's great. I mean,
it's going to be a weekly thing now. We're back for the long haul. There's not going to be any long absences unless one of us is ill.
Touch wood.
Did you just say die?
Yeah, so we touch wood. It's okay.
Oh,
but it's just good to be back. Hopefully you guys were able to enjoy this episode. If you did, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel as well.
Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is incoming.
It's on right now. Hopefully this will be uploaded onto the channel.
Have you set it up?
If not, I've set up the channel.
There we go.
And hopefully this will be uploaded directly to there. If not, we will direct you to the channel next time around. But until next time, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. See you next week.
See you guys.